This is Volusia Today, a public information radio program brought to you by the County of Volusia.
Good morning, Volusia County. My name is Michael Ryan, and you are listening. You are listening to Volusia Today, Volusia County's one and only trusted source for local news. Maggie, I was better last time, wasn't I?
You were a little bit better, but it's okay. I kind of like the change of words. You know? It's a little fun.
Maggie, we've got I'm joined this morning by my guest host, Maggie. And Maggie, we have a special guest. Before we introduce our guest, let's dig into a little bit of news. We're heading into, I guess it's a pre-holiday weekend, right?
Yeah. 4th of July is on Thursday next week?
Yeah.
It'll be a fun weekend.
A lot of people start their weekend, today at 5 and make it last for a little while.
That's true.
You got big plans this weekend?
I'm actually going on a bachelorette trip this weekend. Not my own, so not a wedding update for me, but James's sister is also getting married, so we're going on a little bachelorette trip down to Mount Dora.
Oh, nice. You're going on a bachelor trip to Mount Dora?
Yeah, they got a little house on the lake there.
Yeah.
And so it'll be fun. It'll be a fun little trip. I've only ever been there for short spans of time to go shopping or go to one of the restaurants. So it'll be kind of interesting to stay for the weekend. So it'll be fun.
I'm coming from where I come from, I'm pretty elitist with my Mexican food.
Okay, I could see that.
Yeah, and you can't. I can't find anything that really meets my standards close to here. But in Mount Dora, though, there is a Mexican restaurant that is phenomenal. It is good stuff.
I might have to go check it out.
I can't remember the name of it, but it's good. It's right there, pretty close to the lake.
I'll have to check it out. I love a good Mexican food. Mexican's my favorite, so I'll have to check it out.
So what else is going on this weekend?
Yeah, the CEO Gaming Competition. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, what is it? Tell me.
Oh my gosh, okay, I know nothing about gaming, but I kind of want to go. It is one of the largest fighting game conventions and tournaments experiences in the world. They'll have Street Fighter, Tekken, I think is how you say it.
Yes, man. That takes me back to high school.
Yeah, the one that excited me the most was Super Smash Bros. That I will play all day long. That is my game. And it's going on from the 28th to the 30th, and they're set to bring over 6,000 attendees. And there's a 24-hour arcade. I believe it starts today.
Bro.
I know.
I sent it to my kid last night. He's 18, right?
Yeah.
For the first time ever, he can stay out past 8 p.m. And so, which he now has translated into 4 a.m. somehow. That's he took his freedom really far. But I sent it to him last night. I said, dude, for $84, you can go play. It's 4 days. It started yesterday, right?
Yeah, it started yesterday. I think they set up yesterday. They did a little pre-thing last night, and then into today it goes into the 24-hour arcade.
Yeah.
So it'll be a pretty cool day for everybody who's into gaming. I mean, I might go stop by and play some Super Smash Bros.
I totally was thinking about that myself. You're going after the show, right?
To the show?
No, you're after this show today. You're going to go check it out?
Yeah, we were supposed to go check it out. I don't know if we're still going. Clayton was supposed to meet me over there, but he might have bailed on me. Yeah. But we'll find out. I'll have to give him a call.
we may include me. We'll see what the calendar looks like.
Yeah.
So if you get a chance, go check it out. It's at the Ocean Center. There are lots of big things going on at the Ocean Center. Keep an eye on their website and see what else is coming up. Maggie, what else is going on this weekend before we get into our guests that we need to talk about? Yeah,
we have some adjustments made to Votran routes. It takes effect this Sunday, June 30th. The route adjustments will be in Daytona Beach, Ormond Beach, DeLand, Deltona, DeBary, and Orange City. And there will also be limited services available on the 4th of July because of the holiday. So for more information, just visit Votran.org. But there will be some changes made here on Sunday, so be careful with that. And we also have the burn ban lifted, which we're really excited about.
I tell you what, that sounds like a great segue to our guest. Liz, why don't you take a second to introduce our guest for us?
Yeah, we have Chief King here today. We're very excited to have him with Fire Rescue. Can you tell us actually a little bit about the burn ban and what that means to have it lifted?
Okay, so good morning. Thanks for having me. Usually what happens this time of year when it starts getting drier, starts getting hotter, if we're not into the rainy season, they have what they call the drought index that they measure. And usually most counties look at that number, and when it gets around that 500 number, we start talking about burn bans. And a lot of that is just open burning. It's safety for us, and you guys know in the last couple of weeks we've had some fires pop up, and we started getting a little erratic, and we got to the low mid 500 numbers, and on June 6th enacted the burn ban. Thankfully enough, Mother Nature kicked in, got us some rain, and we were able to lift that before 4th of July weekend coming. Because then we turn into the Grinch that stole the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's no fun. Yeah. And when you say we, really that's you.
Well, it is.
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
To say we, I talk about everything. The fire department, I don't like using I, me, but it's we. But yeah, ultimately, I in coordination with forestry and other indexes that we use and, have conversations with George Rectenwald. But ultimately, I make the decision that it's time to maybe do a little less yard trash burning and stuff like that.
Yeah, Maggie, this is something I just recently learned talking to the chief with the launch of this burn ban, is that in a lot of counties, the county council makes that decision.
Oh, wow.
And so and that's an action decided by 5 or 7 people, whatever, and it's countywide and all that stuff. Here in Volusia County, it lies solely, and Chief may kill me later for saying this, but it lies solely on his shoulders. Mm-hmm. And a burn ban is for those people who don't burn stuff, it's a great thing, and it's a sense of security and safety. For those people who live out on property and they do burn stuff, it is a restriction. Mm-hmm. And so it's not an easy call to make. Is that right, Chief?
It's a tough call to make. Plus, it also puts a little bit on, because forestry issues all the prescribed burning for tile burning, land clearing, and that kind of gets into it a little bit. So it cuts into some livelihood. It could, set back some land clearing operations or slow things down. So you really got to put some thought into it when you're going to pull that trigger.
Yeah, I never thought about that. I always think again about the guy who burning trash in his backyard, right. But you truly are impacting people's livelihood on some like that. That's a lot of pressure. That's a tough decision.
And even during a burn ban, forestry has the ability to allow the pile burns for. I don't ultimately stop that, but they'll look at the county and go, all right, there's a burn ban in the county.
Right.
They might put some more regulations, stipulations on those burns.
Okay. I tell you what, we just went straight into the burn ban and it being lifted. Let's take a break. And Chief, I want to come back and talk a little bit about you and the fire department, fire rescue.
Okay.
Subscribe to the Volusia County YouTube channel.
And hit the bell icon to know what's happening in your hometown.
There are so many great places to explore.
And things to learn.
With over 1,000 videos available right now, the channel offers something for everyone.
Let's go!
Did you know we have countless features showcasing history, nature, wildlife, and recreation? Subscribe and hit the bell icon.
Or that we live stream important county meetings and workshops where leaders make decisions that can impact our everyday lives. Did you subscribe yet?
Or that we record our weekly radio show, Volusia Today, where we interview staff from the different divisions and departments across our great county, and they discuss the nitty-gritty of their field and expertise.
Go ahead, subscribe.
But that's not it. There's more. Subscribe and hit the bell icon and fully explore.
Score!
All right, good morning. Welcome back to Volusia Today. We are joined today by Chief King with Volusia County Fire Rescue, and we were just talking about the burn ban a little bit and it being lifted and how exciting that is, but we kind of skipped over it. So, Chief King, can you tell us a little bit about who you are, where you come from, how'd you get here?
Well, we won't go too far back. I did go to high school in the area. I've lived in Flagler County since I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
So I graduated high school in Flagler County, went to school there, went off, played college baseball for a couple of years, and I came back and go, I'm ready to be a firefighter. So I went to school, got certified, and in 1990, a long time ago,
wow,
started working in Ormond Beach Fire Department. Did 23 years with Ormond Beach, and retired from Ormond, and took a job with Flagler County as a fire marshal, and then became the deputy chief there. And in August of 21, came to Volusia County as the deputy chief, and a little over a year later, I'm lucky enough to be the fire chief.
That's a career right there. That's a long time in the service.
It's been fun.
Any regrets? Are you glad you became a firefighter? Spent your whole life being a firefighter? That is a deep question.
I will tell you this one, that when I decided, all right, I'm giving up baseball and going to fire school.
Yeah, that's tough.
I sat there and watched baseball because I had an opportunity to go on to Iowa, Ole Miss, Florida Southern, and I decided, I'm going to go to fire school, and baseball became a job that you didn't get paid for, and for 5 years I regretted. I'd watch baseball and go, that could be me. That could be me. And even now I travel a lot. I play a lot of competitive softball, and 5-6 times out of the year I'm all over the country playing softball with 55 and over, and I can't get it out. I got to keep doing it. So
that's an interesting transition from baseball to fire. What brought you to fire rescue and made you want to be a firefighter?
That's a good question, because I talk about that a lot in new hires, and when I go talk to new, I just feel like that whole team mentality. You're one of 9 in baseball, you're one in whatever, in fire. You just got to learn how to be that team player, learn how to fit and just doesn't matter if you're the boss or the bottom guy, just find the spot you need to be in and be part of that team. So I felt like that was the easy transition for me, because I played baseball from 5 years old. I mean, from the day I could stand up, I think I had a bat in my hand.
What'd you play? What position?
Well, in college and in high school and college, I played third base. Now my softball, I played third base, middle infield, I pitched. So mostly on the dirt, not in the grass. I like running that much.
Yeah, well, no,
Right.
They always stuck me in the grass. Nobody likes to play out in the grass.
Yeah, I was in the grass too.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I tell you what, and the reason I asked, Chief, my daughter is 17. She's going into her senior year, and I shouldn't say this on the air, but she's on the fence of deciding if she's going to play. She plays softball, second base. Yeah, second base. And I had to think about that for a second. And she's on the fence if she's going to play her senior year. And so, we're trying to let her make her own decisions, obviously. Right. But like I'm also trying to tell her, if you skip that last year, because you just, for whatever reason, you're always going to look back and possibly always look back and regret that. So
I agree.
You agree with that?
I agree that you'll probably regret it. I mean, I did, like I said, for when I walked away from college baseball, I regretted it for 5 years, thinking it wasn't right. But you asked me that question now, and I'm glad I did what I did. Next month I start my 35th year in the fire service.
Yeah, absolutely.
August, I do.
Let's take it back in there, but I want to reiterate that you just told my daughter on the air that she will regret it if she doesn't play her senior year. Chief King said so.
You winked at me too, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. So Emma, if you're listening, pay attention. You and I have been in government about the same amount of time, and I've always worked what I would call fire department or fire rescue adjacent. Right. I've always worked closely with the fire departments that I worked with. I've seen change in fire rescue over those years from the outside. Mm-hmm. What you've witnessed over the last 30 years has got to be phenomenal, in how the what am I trying to say? How the career has progressed, or how the field has.
Well, the funny thing, I mean, the first thing that pops into my head, I think about when I went to fire school, it was a fifth of the hours. It was like, a 280-hour class. Now it's almost 600 hours of school. Wow. The book was maybe an inch thick. Now it's like 7 inches thick. It basically went from you were a firefighter to now you're a jack of all trades. There's hazmat, there's all kinds of stuff. We always make the joke that when people call 911 and they don't know who to send, they just send the fire department.
Yeah.
We come with a giant toolbox. I mean, we basically we're considered all hazard.
Yeah, that's true. It's kind of interesting. I didn't really think about that until I worked for the county, of how much the fire department deals with aside from fire. What is like the things that you see the most that isn't a fire that you guys actually get called to do?
Well, the most obviously what we do is medical calls. That's roughly in the 80% of our calls is medical calls, and then there's a lot of vehicle accidents. You deal with just a lot of hazardous stuff, fire alarms, stuff like that. But roughly fire-related calls is about 5% of what we do.
Oh, wow.
Real structure fires, stuff like that. Most of it's, the medical side or the extrication side or accidents and hazard removal.
So, Chief, we have, help me understand the difference between the service you guys provide, and we also have an EMS department too.
Right.
And so when I call 911, then how do I know if I'm getting a firefighter who is, well, I tell you what, let's start with, how are you guys medically trained?
So all the fire departments in this area are medically trained to the high, the advanced life support, or ALS, or paramedics.
Okay.
So every fire truck pretty much in the whole county that rolls is the same qualification medically as your ambulances that show up. So that's why in the county it's a full 2-tier system. You'll respond depending on the call. If it's a what they call low acuity medical call,
right,
you could just get an ambulance.
Okay.
But a regular medical call, you'll get a fire truck and ambulance because they want the closest unit to get there.
Sure.
And generally, depending on the locations, a lot of times it's your fire department, but with the way the ambulance service works in the county, they're kind of, dynamic. They're moving around, so they could be right around the corner. So the way it works in the county is just that blanketed 2-tier system.
So Chief, if fire rescue shows up first, do you guys stabilize the patient and then the ambulance shows up and transports them?
Everybody can do the same treatment. So once the first EMS, paramedic, whatever gets on scene, they're treating the patient. And then if the ambulance shows up or vice versa, if the ambulance is there first, they can start treating and cancel the fire truck.
Okay.
If the fire truck's on scene first, they'll start treating the patient and then transition over. They'll do the transport only. So it's like the ambulance can just pull up, load the patient up, and leave if it's timed perfectly.
Right.
So it's quicker getting the call done and getting them to the hospital.
Okay.
Wow, it's so interesting to me. You know, I drive on the road and you see accidents. Sometimes you see a fire truck, sometimes you see an ambulance. It's interesting to know the difference between the two, and that really you're getting the same treatment regardless of who shows up. And I imagine that you guys get some pretty hard calls, and sometimes that can be rough to deal with. I mean, how do you guys manage that? You know, I'm sure there's people who have a hard time going in and seeing that. I mean, you've been doing it for 35 years. I imagine that becomes a lot to carry. How do you deal with that on a day-to-day basis?
So there's a lot of things in place right now. We deal a lot with that. You know, the PTSD is now big in the fire service. And I've always said, I think years ago it was funny because all we had years ago, we didn't have any social media. We didn't have any of that. No phones, no nothing. When I started, we'd go back to the station and sit at the kitchen table and drink coffee and talk about it.
And yeah.
Where now it's like you get these kids, they come back, they grab their phones, they go right in the bunk room, and they're by themselves. And I've always said that's, you got to get everybody and talk about things. And so there's a lot of things in place that are out there for help and, discussion. But I think it starts with inside the department, just recognizing that and caring about your people and making sure you make that a priority.
That's an interesting question, Chief. That like you said, it's about part of the reason you went into firefighting it's about the team and right. Keeping that, and which absolutely translates from athletics into that, or the military into that. It makes a lot of sense that just that team culture and stuff. I think I would probably unfairly stereotype the men and women in a fire station that is not wanting to walk back after a call and actually talk to each other about how it affected their feelings. Right. I just don't see that. Does that happen?
Well, it does. And for a long time, you can talk to people years ago in the fire service. That was the biggest problem. It was that culture was out there that, right. Don't say nothing, don't be that weaker person. And now it's like, if you need to talk about it. But I think that was unfair because I think we did it on our own, not realizing it. We would go back and talk about it.
Yeah.
And I think it helped. And plus, it's not always great to go home every day and try to dump on your spouse of
right.
what's going on, and they don't understand. I mean, I have that luxury. I mean, my wife worked in the fire service, so I come home and dump.
She speaks the language, yeah.
She speaks the language, and she can also look at me and ground me and go, listen, you did that when you were a firefighter.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
My wife manages a hospice team here in Volusia County. Mm-hmm. And so it's a hospice. So every day she's dealing with the final outcome of that, and comes home and talks to me about it. Oh, I'm like, I wrote a press release today. Right. I posted some stuff on Facebook, right. And she literally helped a family transition and stuff. It's just such a different level that a lot of us who go to day jobs don't handle that kind of stuff. I tell you what, let's come back, and when we come back, we'll dig into. I really would like to know what you guys do between the fires and the medical calls. What's the other 80% of the stuff that you guys do?
A lot of what we do is just training, preparation, just the whole day. You start the day off and it's an hour or 2 hours of just making sure all your equipment's right. I mean, even though somebody was there the day before, stuff happens. So you're checking trucks, getting your stuff ready. Training's probably at least 2 hours a day.
But you guys don't play Xbox all day, right?
No, not supposed to.
No. I tell you what, let's dig into that when we come right back.
Okay.
We are Volusia County Beach Safety. We're here to serve Volusia County's 47 miles of unique coastline. Volusia County beaches. Yeah, those beaches. But also these beaches. We have millions of visitors every year, and we work around the clock to keep our beaches safe and beautiful. And you can help.
Swim near a staff lifeguard tower.
Pick up your trash. And fill holes. Identify, avoid, and escape rip currents.
Please leave the beach cleaner than you found it.
There we go. Look out for one another and keep an eye on kids, especially near the traffic lane and in the water.
Pets are allowed at our 2 pet-friendly beaches, Lighthouse Point Park and Smyrna Dunes Park.
If you see something, say something.
A clean and safe beach guarantees fun in the sun for everyone. Thank you for doing your part to keep Volusia County beaches beautiful. See you at the beach!
Make the most of your day at the beach. Download the Volusia County Beaches app today. Sign up for real-time notifications on vehicle ramp openings and closings. Find staffed lifeguard towers. Get updates on tides and beach conditions, plus off-beach parking and coastal parks info. Volusia County Beaches app is available for your smart devices at the App Store and Google Play.
Welcome back to Volusia Today. We're here today with Chief King, and we were just talking a little bit about, what does it look like in the fire station? Is there gaming? Is there Xbox? What is it actually like?
Cooking, you guys cook a lot, right?
Yeah.
A lot of good cooks.
Are you guys the Yeah, that's I would guess. Yeah. Sorry.
But we all know there is a very serious side to it, and there's the training and preparation that goes into it. So what does that really look like?
So, you hear this a lot. Everybody says you failed to your highest level of training. And if as a firefighter, if you use that as your mentality, because a lot of times we do stuff all day long that we've never done before. So it's going there trying to figure. I say we're like the MacGyvers of
right.
We go somewhere and it's like we look at it and try to figure out, hey, how do we fix this problem? So we try to train a lot. And I will say in the last couple of years since I've been there, the training in Volusia County has stepped up. We train countywide with all the municipalities out at our training center. Volusia County has a state-recognized training facility. DSC runs a school there. But we put in 200-plus hours of structured training at the facility every year. They do 2 hours a day minimum training. But I just got done telling somebody the other day, this is the first fire department I think I worked at that these guys are just hungry for training.
Yeah.
Usually you get that group, they're like, oh, we got to do this today. Right now, there's a culture there that they're just loving training.
Wow.
I think that's such an important factor of because we joke with you about playing Xbox and stuff, but there is there's a perception that, like you said, only 10% of the calls are true, like in what your world is a real fire, right? And so there's this perception of like what's happening the rest of that time. That training and education is so important. Well, we talked about like how the profession has evolved during your time, and which is really in the history of firefighting kind of a short blip, right? But look at the technology and the training, the techniques, and you guys have to stay on top of that all the time. That's a big deal.
It's ever changing. I mean, it's like right now with the electric cars.
Oh, yeah.
That's true.
That's just a new. It's a monster right now.
Tell us that because I wouldn't even have thought about that.
Well, just that alone. I mean, the charging stations that they put in, parking garages now, and it takes 10 times the amount of water to put out an electric car when it's on fire, and it's just there's a lot to it. I mean, there's so much ongoing training right now going on that every month something new that you can start reaching out, learning, getting out to your crews.
Wow. Well, that's a lot for training for you guys, but I believe that there's also, the educational side for the community as well. How do you guys work to educate the community on some of that?
Well, that's something we actually spoke about this a little bit yesterday when I saw you. We're working on trying to get a stronger education piece in place, but right now our biggest contact with education is just in the schools with the normal fire prevention stuff, learn not to burn, we have some stuff on our website that, kind of character learning place spot for kids, but that's something we're really looking forward into trying to grow and get more of an education out there, maybe get out more to the homeowners associations.
Yeah.
Be part of meetings, just getting that education.
Chief, that's a great segue, a great opportunity for us to talk about. You have something new coming out on Monday. This is super timely for us. Actually, Maggie, you work closely with Fire Rescue. What's happening on Monday that's a big deal as far as fire rescue education?
Yeah, we have social media launching, which is super exciting. I'm going to work pretty closely with Chief King on this, which is going to be fun. You're going to get a lot of emails from me. But no, we have social media launching, so we'll have some educational stuff going out and some fun videos of the firefighters and some stuff for 4th of July that's coming up too. So some educational content just around fireworks and things like that. So we're really excited about it.
So if you're listening on Monday, Tuesday, sometime next week, go follow Volusia County Fire Rescue, and because the educational stuff will be there too. But we're also going to do updates on fires and keep the community involved and updated on the latest fires that are happening, and if they're threatening structures and all that stuff. So it'll be a good way to stay on top of that. And Maggie, you mentioned. Let's spend the last couple of minutes. You mentioned 4th of July. That's next Thursday. Chief, what do we need to know about 4th of July and fire?
Well, the nice thing is we don't have a burn ban in place anymore.
Yep.
So, what everybody knows is, years ago, 4th of July, everybody would be upset because in the state of Florida, you couldn't light off fireworks. Now we got those 3 days a year that we're allowed to. So it's New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and of course 4th of July.
That's very Florida. Yeah.
So
Very
you know,
fitting.
the problem is with those couple days, you'll hear fireworks from
The day
minute it
before.
starts getting dark the
Yeah.
day before to
Yeah,
the day
yeah.
after.
Yeah.
So it's kind of and there is areas in the county, and you know, you should probably make sure you know where you're lighting fireworks off, because there's some cities that do have ordinances, places that prohibit fireworks. I mean, I know a couple of them offhand. I think Daytona, Deltona, DeLand, New Smyrna, Edgewater, stuff like that. But just make sure where you live, you understand the rules. Definitely in the county beaches. There's no fireworks on the county beaches. All
That's
those
good
have
to know.
ordinances in place.
That's a good point, because we have, I think, 16 municipalities, right? And so the ability to use those fireworks on July 4th is for sure unincorporated, but you absolutely need to know where you live, because there may be different laws in the cities. What, just safety-wise, Chief, we've got about a minute and a half left. Just safety-wise, we know what we can legally do. What do we need to be cognizant of?
Well, the biggest thing, as everybody knows, the biggest injuries every year is hands and fingers.
Yeah.
People think, you know, they light a firework and it doesn't go off, and they go, what happened? And they pick it up and it goes off, or they try crazy stuff, you know, watch this. And
Yeah, shooting the
throw it
Roman
too
candles
late.
at each other,
Right.
that's really fun.
So, you know, just be safe. You know, make sure you're cognizant where your kids are. Don't let them run around with stuff.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing I always tell people, and this was one that always comes up, when you dispose of them. I've run a couple calls in my career where they clean up their fireworks, put them in a garbage can, and set it on side the house. And 2 o'clock in the morning, there's a fire.
Yeah, I never would have
It's
thought about that.
smoldered. You know, we've been to a couple of them where we've had that happen.
Well, Chief, we've got the 4th of July coming up next Thursday. Keep an eye on the new Volusia County Fire Rescue social media coming out. Maggie, I'm sure you're going to do that.
Yep, that'll be me. I'm excited about it.
Where are you spending July 4th?
It's a great question. I don't know.
Chief, where are you spending
Probably
July
home.
4th?
I hope in the morning on the golf course.
Oh, good for you.
Ooh,
Good
that's
for
a
you.
good one.
Good for you.
That's another one to make sure my wife heard. Probably didn't like that I brought her up before, but I had to throw that one.
Well, since my wife is listening, yes, I will be on the golf course with Chief King on Thursday morning. You guys have a great, safe weekend, and be safe in Volusia County on the beaches. Not just with fireworks coming up on 4th of July. You know, it's a long weekend. People tend to enjoy it at levels that are somewhat not always safe. Be safe this week and enjoy the ocean.